Hey guys, Coach Mike here, and welcome to another installment of the Base Tip of the Week, where this time I'm coming at you with a tip about one of my favorite lower body exercises, the reverse lunge. Now, when you consider there are so many different ways that you can do lunges, what is it about the reverse lunge that makes it so special, and why do I consider it a go-to exercise for virtually all of the athletes that I train? Let's take a closer look and find out. One of the things that makes the lunge such a great exercise, and I'm talking about regardless of what type you do, is the fact that this exercise teaches what's known as deceleration strength, which is going to help young athletes to be better able to make efficient and safer changes of direction when they're out on the field of play. Because essentially what a lunge of any type is doing is allowing you to control your body's momentum as it comes down towards the ground. So when we take an exercise like the forward lunge, for example, which is also a great drill when it's done properly, you're going to be in an upright position, and this drill is all about rapidly decelerating that weight and being able to drop in to that back knee and bring it straight down towards the ground. Now what I'm getting here is I'm getting a lot of emphasis on the front leg, but I am getting some shearing force on that front knee, and the more shearing force I'm going to get is when I allow that knee to drive forward. Now this is a position we don't want to be in, with this knee way forward. Sometimes you'll even see young athletes with their heel up off the ground on a lunge, and that's because oftentimes they lack the mobility in the hips and the ankles to do a forward lunge properly. So we definitely want to do what we can to eliminate that shearing force on the knee or minimize it as much as possible. That's why I like the reverse lunge so much. Now with the reverse lunge, we're going to get a couple of benefits. Number one, we're going to get more glute and hamstring involvement, which is always key with athletes of any age, gender, what have you. The other thing that we're going to do is be able to really focus in on that upright posture a little more, and we can cut down on the shearing force on the knee. So with the reverse lunge, we stand up straight and tall. Now I will usually tell my athletes, instead of sliding the foot along the ground, to step over something, so maybe picture like a small hurdle behind them. And then what they're going to do is decelerate and drop into that back leg, trusting that back leg to catch them. Because as you can see, I'm essentially dropping down before the foot even hits the ground. So I'm just trusting that back leg that it's going to catch me, and when I come up, I'm really loading up the glute and the hamstring on that forward leg, drive up and through. You can of course do these alternating sides. You can hold dumbbells, you can hold a medicine ball, all kinds of different ways to make them more difficult. But it's a great way to start out, especially with young athletes. Sometimes they'll be really tight. You have to watch that they don't give you something that looks like this because they're so tight through those hip flexors. Encourage an upright posture and make sure that they're really loading the heel on this front leg. And lastly, make sure too much weight doesn't go to the back leg. You don't want to have something like this where they've got this kind of angle here at the knee. You want to be able to drop straight down into that front leg and then drive up and through to build that glute and hamstring strength. So that's why I think the reverse lunge is such a great drill, and why I definitely think it's worth putting into your routine if it's not already there. Alright, so now hopefully you can appreciate why the reverse lunge is such a great exercise to include, especially with young athletes who may be a little bit challenged in terms of mobility, core strength, what have you, and is a great exercise to help them to train that deceleration strength so they can have more efficient changes of direction, and it can help them to build up to be able to do different types of lunges as well once that mobility and strength has been built. That does it for this week, but don't forget to tune in again next week where I'll hit you with another great tip. I'll see you next time.